What's up, two-timers? I'm New Two Times, and on this channel you will find all types of videos about photography, editing photos, and basically learning more about your camera. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you can see more videos as they're posted. Let's get right into it. OG viewers of my channel, you will recognize this place. I always do videos here. It's beautiful. But anyways, today we're going to talk about two things that I wish I knew before I bought my first DSLR camera. Right now I'm shooting on a Canon 80D with a Sigma 18 to 35 mil lens. I wish I never bought this camera.
What?
Let me tell you why. Well, let's start this off with a story. When I was first starting YouTube, I was strictly recording with my phone, and that worked fine for me. It should work fine for you, and I suggest if you're starting YouTube to record with whatever you have. But here's where the problem comes in. Eventually you want to upgrade. Once you decide to upgrade, what are you going to buy? If you've never owned a DSLR, you're just going basically off of what you read online with no experience on why you're buying whatever you're trying to buy. So that's what I did. I looked online, found a couple of people talking about the Canon 80D and how good it is and stuff like that. So I went and bought it. Now the thing about me is when I buy things, I future-proof myself so that I buy something over the level of what I need, so that if I have to upgrade later, I'm already upgraded. And then I work myself into that expensive item. Now the Canon 80D is not by any means necessary a cheap DSLR. There's a lot of cheaper DSLRs, Rebel series and stuff like that you can get for, you know, lower hundreds. Canon 80D costs $1,000 just the body alone. Now, I bought the Canon 80D, loved it for as long as I could, but then I realized something. There are multiple kinds of DSLRs, and you need to know the advantages of each one before you buy one. Now, there are crop sensor DSLRs, there are mirrorless DSLRs, and there are full frame DSLRs. Mirrorless DSLRs are lighter. Crop sensor DSLRs look exactly like full frame DSLRs, except for the one difference that makes everything to me. A crop sensor DSLR, when you put a lens on it, let's say you put this 18 to 35 lens on it, you have to times that 18 by 1.6 because it is cropped in. So basically, any lens I put on here is not showing at its full potential, that's how I would say it. When I say this is at 18, what I mean is the length is at 18. But times that by 1.6 because it's a crop sensor. Now this ends up being like a 28 or something like that. And that sucks because if you're going to be vlogging, you want to have enough space between you and the camera to vlog. I can't vlog with this lens because my arm is not long enough, and the lens will end up being this close on my face, and nobody wants to see all that. Full frame cameras use the actual length of the lens correctly. So if I buy an 18 mil lens, I'm gonna have an 18 mil view. And that, my friends, is why you should not buy a crop sensor if you're gonna be doing this video thing and vlogging and stuff. I personally wanna buy a 24 mil lens, but a 24 mil lens times 1.6 is gonna be way too close to my face to use. If I had a full frame camera, I could do that. There's so many lenses I could use the correct way that they're meant to be used if I had just bought a full frame camera instead of buying this crop sensor. Nobody told me that. I guess it's my fault because I didn't do enough research on it, but I mean, I didn't know what this stuff was anyways, so it should have been clearer for everybody who's posting videos about these cameras. But you know, nobody warns you, don't buy a crop sensor if you're going to be vlogging. They just say, oh, this is a great camera. Now, I don't mean that there are no lenses that are good for this camera if you want to vlog. Of course, the 10 to 18 mil lens that was made famous by Casey That's a good lens, but it's still cropped in, but it still gives you a good length. But I want to have the option to use all the Canon L series lenses that are way better than these lenses. So take advice from me. If you're going to get into YouTube, buying a DSLR, even photography, just get a full frame camera so that you can take full potential of every lens that is available to these cameras. Don't make the same mistake I made. Now the problem is, if you're buying an entry-level DSLR, the only full frame DSLR that is really worth buying now is the 6D, and that one is $1,600. The Canon 80D costs $1,000. The 6D is $1,600. I wish I would have knew what I know now, so I would have just bought the $1,600 camera and been able to use all the lenses that I really want to use at their full potential. But I messed up. It's too late for me. Don't be like me. Make smart choices and buy a full frame right off the bat. The second thing I wish I knew is that even though full frame cameras and crop sensors and mirrorless are all good and all, once you buy into one of those type of cameras, let's say you just jump directly to the full frame like I would suggest you do. Let's say you jump into the full frame and then you buy a 6D. I think it's a 6D Mark II right now. You buy that and you're wondering why your pictures aren't coming out all that great. Well, the second thing I wish I knew was that it's all about the lens. If you buy a 6D Mark II, even though it's full frame, if you don't get a good lens, it's not gonna make a difference. Do yourself a favor, get you a full frame camera, get an amazing lens. Most of the L series Canon lenses are great. Get yourself something called a prime lens. I'm looking forward to upgrading this camera to a full frame and buying like a 24 1.8 lens. I will explain to you guys a little bit later what 24 1.8 and all that jargon means. But in this video, I'm just telling you about purchasing your first DSLR. There's lots more videos to come. I will explain everything in terms that you guys can understand, because I sure didn't understand when I first started, but now I know. And I'm gonna explain it in layman's terms to everybody so that you guys all know what you're getting into before you get into it and make a financial mistake. Well, that's it for this video, you guys. If you like this little, it's not even a tutorial, it's just basically a talk, but if you like this video, if you like the channel, if you like videos about cameras and recording stuff and all that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm new 2 times, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.